In today's lesson, we're going to subtract a whole number and a decimal number. So if we have a problem like this that says subtract 31 minus 3.984. So the first step is to rewrite the problem. Make sure to line up the decimals correctly. So at the end of any whole number, there is a decimal here, even though we don't always write it in. So what you'll need to do is put a decimal here, and then in order to do the subtraction, put in zeros afterwards. So let's see how that looks. So put a decimal at the end of the whole number and put in zeros to perform the subtraction. Looks like this. So doing this does not change the value of the whole number. The value of 0 is nothing, so adding trailing zeros behind it, as long as you put the decimal there, will not change its value. Okay? Now we bring the decimal down into the answer and make sure it lines up. Make sure the decimal lines up. Now we could just subtract, and just as if the decimal's not there. Just pretend it's not there. So now we just remember our place value and start subtracting from right to left. So we start from here and we go this way. Okay? So let's review our place value. These are the tens, these are the ones, these are the tenths, these are the hundredths, these are the thousandths. So let's now subtract the thousandths. We start here. So we have to borrow a 1 from the ones. There are no numbers we could borrow from here, so we have to go all the way over here to borrow something. So let's see how to do that. So we actually look at these three numbers. We're working here, but because we have to borrow, we have to look at these three numbers. So it's like thinking of borrowing 1 from 100. See, there's 100 here. And like I said, ignore the decimal. If you take 1 away from 100, you're left with 99. So that's what you put here. And then you put the 1 in front of the 10 that you borrowed. Now we just, so taking away or borrowing a 1 from 100 becomes 99. Now we just subtract 10 minus 4. Okay? So that's equal to 6. Now we go to the next place value. We subtract the hundredths. 9 minus 8. We can do that. It's equal to 1. We don't have to do any borrowing. Now we subtract the tenths. 9 minus 9 is 0. We don't have to do any borrowing. Now we go to the ones. Subtract the ones. We do need to borrow from the tens here. We can't subtract 0 minus 3. So when we borrow from the tens, this 3 becomes a 2, and we put a 1 here, and this becomes a 10. Now we can do our subtraction. 10 minus 3 is 7. Now we subtract the tens. Subtract 2 minus 0. 2 minus 0, there's nothing here, is equal to 2. And that's the end of that lesson. That's how you subtract a whole number and a decimal number. And don't worry if you didn't get that right away. You could just rewatch the video. As well, I have links in the description to other videos of mine that I've done that are similar to this. As well, you could download the ebook. In the ebook, there's this exact lesson in it. There's a link there. You can click on it. It'll take you to this lesson. You can follow along in the ebook as you watch the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for listening.